Keen Beans. Welcome to the Keen Christmas, Keen Vlogmas. I miss you all. I can't wait to see you all face to face again. So today I am making some cheesy scones, which are really nice. They're very nice with some soup, if you've got any soup at home. The first thing I need to do is get a baking sheet and grease it, which just means rubbing some margarine all over it so that nothing sticks to it. So I get some margarine and I'm just going to rub it on my baking sheet. Super easy. Cool, so that's ready and we can just put that down and use it later. Okay, is it working? Yeah, it is working. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is put 220, it will make it less lumpy, but I'm lazy, so I'm not going to sieve it. So I'm just making sure those are mixed together, and then I'm going to add 40 grams of butter. Now you want to make it soft. I made it a bit too soft. Oh, and it's got all melty, but that'll be fine. So you just put your soft butter in, or some margarine would work too. So 40 grams of that into your 225 grams of self-raising flour, and then you just rub it together and it will start to look like breadcrumbs. My dog Maisie's under the table here because she wants some. So you've got to really rub that really well between your fingertips. Okay. Okay, it's starting to look like breadcrumbs. It takes lots of rubbing it, and you can squeeze it and anything. Just get it all mixed up. Okay, and now I am going to add a teaspoon of, I forgot the baking powder earlier, but we can add that in now. So let's get a teaspoon. Okay, we've got a teaspoon of baking powder. It's going to go in. And that's what's going to make them rise and be really big and fluffy. And then we're also going to add a teaspoon of mustard powder. Don't worry, they don't taste like mustard if you don't like mustard. I don't like mustard, but it's nice in this. So you put a teaspoon of that in. And I'll just stir them in a little bit with my teaspoon. And then I've got a big bowl with somewhere between 75 and 100 grams of grated cheese. And I'm going to put most of it in, but I'm going to save a little bit for putting on the top of the cheese scones. So let's put most of that in. And then you can give it a stir, or rub it in with your hands. Get me a spoon. No, a wooden spoon. Okay, and for the next bit you are going to need a spoon because we're adding milk in and that's going to get really sticky. So my sister's going to give me a spoon now. Okay, and I've got 1/4 pint of milk. I'm just going to add a little bit at a time until it looks like bread dough, which is just sort of, I'll show you what it's meant to look like. It's kind of a slightly sticky, but it's all balled up together. So I'll put a little bit in and stir that in. And then I'll put a little bit more in and stir that around, and it's all going to start sticking together. And you might want to preheat the oven at this point, like my sister just did. You need it to be 220 degrees, so that's really, really hot. Okay, it's starting to stick together, but not enough, so more milk goes in. Oh, I think we've got it. And if you get too much milk and it gets a bit too sticky, like mine might have done, you can just add a bit more flour. Yeah, so mine's a little bit too sticky, so I'm just going to chuck the flour into it. That's how we want it to look. So it needs to be basically a bit like Play-Doh so that you can sculpt it. So this is my ball of dough. I'll hold it up to the camera in a second. This is my ball of dough. So you see it's made a ball that I can hold. It's all stuck together. And then I'm going to need a chopping board. So I've got one over here, a big chopping board that we can roll it out on. So get some flour and sprinkle it on your chopping board just so nothing sticks to it. And we're just going to roll it out till it's about an inch thick, which is about the length of that end bit of your thumb. That's how tall you want it to be. So let's get my rolling pin and just gently roll it into a big thick circle. Okay, that looks good. I'll show you what it looks like. There's my big circle of dough. And now I'm going to need a knife. So be careful with this. And I'm going to cut it into triangles by cutting across it. I'll show you what I mean when I've cut it out. I think this is going to make 8 very big scones once they grow. But you can cut them into whatever size you want. So there's my circle. I cut it out like pizza slices. Cut it out like pizza slices. Okay, and then there's only one more thing to do before it goes into the oven, which is to get a little brush, and put a bit of milk on top of all of them, and then put the leftover cheese on top. And then they can go in the oven. So I'm going to put them on my baking tray first before I brush them with milk and sprinkle them with cheese. So onto the tray they all go. And I'm going to eat these for lunch. They only need to cook for 10 minutes, so they're ready really quickly. Oh yes, so my sister's given me a brush, and I'm just going to get some milk on the brush and brush all of these with a bit of milk. Okay, and then the last bit of my cheese, which is in my bowl, that's just going to go sprinkling on the top. I'm getting most of it on the tray rather than the scones, but that's alright. There'll be some nice melty cheese bits that I can pick up off the tray and eat. Cheese, cheese, and the last scone. Cheese. Okay, so that's a super easy recipe. It's taken less than 10 minutes and we've got them all ready. I'll put them in the oven for 10 minutes and then they cool down for about a bit of time, and then they're ready to eat once they're not too hot for your mouth. I've just read the recipe and it says it should make 16. I've made 8, so they're going to be double big. So if you want to make normal size scones, make 16 slices. So let's put it in the oven. Okay, and then I'll be back in 10 minutes so we can see what they look like. Hey guys, oh, maybe I should put it this way. There we go. Okay guys, so it's been 10 minutes. Let's take a look at our scones. There they are. My ones look a bit pale, so I'm going to put them in for a couple of minutes, but they look like scones. That's what you guys can make.